Have you ever wondered what humanity's greatest journey really is? I mean, we've crossed oceans. We've even gone to other planets. But that's nothing compared to this. We're talking about a silent 40-plus year voyage into the vast, unknown space between the stars. Yep, this is the incredible story of the Voyager probes. Okay, so after all that time, more than 4 decades, the big question is, where are they now? Just how far have our most distant robotic explorers actually gone? The answer? They are out there. I mean, way out there. We're talking far past the orbits of all the planets. They've literally pierced the protective bubble of our own solar system. Think about that. The Voyagers are now the very first human-made objects to ever sail that cosmic ocean between the stars. But, to really get a feel for just how incredible that is, we've got to rewind. We have to go back to the beginning. Because this whole thing, this entire grand tour, it was only possible because of a crazy, extraordinary cosmic coincidence. So let's go back to 1977. NASA launched these 2 probes to catch a wave, so to speak. They were taking advantage of this super rare planetary alignment, the kind that only happens once every 176 years. It was the perfect chance to use gravitational slingshots to visit Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, all in one epic trip. And wow, what a journey it was. Just look at this timeline. It was like this rapid-fire succession of planetary encounters. In just 12 years, the Voyagers basically rewrote our textbooks. They found active volcanoes on Jupiter's moons, showed us how complex Saturn's rings really are, and even captured the totally bizarre weather on Uranus and Neptune. It was, without a doubt, a golden age of planetary exploration. And here it is. This is the incredible machine that did all of that. I mean, what a marvel of engineering, right? Especially when you stop and remember this was designed and built in the 1970s. To put that into perspective for you, its entire onboard computer has just 69 kilobytes of memory. Get this, that's less memory than the key fob for your car. Seriously. So to actually do all this science, they were packed with a whole suite of brilliant instruments. You had the imaging science system, the ISS, which was basically their eyes, giving us all those iconic, absolutely breathtaking photos. But at the same time, you had other instruments, like the magnetometer and the plasma spectrometer, and they were sort of sniffing out the invisible stuff, mapping the magnetic fields and all the charged particles swirling around these giant worlds. But then, after that final planetary flyby, the mission entered a whole new phase, something even more profound. The grand tour was officially over. But the real journey? Oh, that was just beginning. The probes were sailing onward, heading straight for the great, silent unknown. Okay, so to understand what happens next, you gotta picture our sun for a second. It's not just sitting there. It's constantly blowing this huge bubble of charged particles and magnetic fields out into space. We call this bubble the heliosphere. And its very final outer edge, the point where the sun's influence just stops and the rest of the galaxy begins, that's the heliopause. This image here really gives you a sense of just how turbulent that boundary is. See, here in the blue region, the probe is still deep inside our solar system, safe and sound. But as it keeps traveling outward, it hits the yellow and red zones. That's a messy, chaotic region called the heliosheath. It's where the sun's protective bubble finally gives way to the vastness of interstellar space. And then, it happened. August 25th, 2012. Voyager 1 literally punched through that final boundary and officially entered interstellar space. What a moment. I mean, that was a truly historic moment for all of us, for all of humanity. And, the feeling of that moment was just perfectly captured by the mission's lead scientist, Ed Stone. After poring over all the data, the team could finally answer that one question they'd been asking for decades. Are we there yet? And the answer was a resounding yes. We were there. So this brings up another absolutely incredible challenge. How on earth do we stay in touch with it? Seriously, how do you talk to a spacecraft using 1970s tech from 15 billion miles away? The engineering required to pull this off it's just staggering. Well, the numbers here really tell the whole story. Back during its planetary flybys, Voyager could send back data at a pretty respectable 115.2 kilobits per second. But today, from all the way out in interstellar space, that signal has weakened to a tiny trickle, just 160 bits per second. To put that into perspective for you, that is hundreds of times slower than one of those old screeching dial-up modems from the 90s. Remember those? Yeah. This isn't a data stream. It's an incredibly faint whisper coming from across the void. So how do they even do it? The whole process is just a testament to genius engineering. First, Voyager sends out this faint signal from its 18-watt transmitter. That's about as much power as a refrigerator light bulb. Then, that tiny signal has to travel across billions of miles for over 22 hours just to get here. And finally, these massive deep space network antennas here on Earth have to listen so carefully just to pick that one tiny whisper out of all the cosmic noise. It's amazing. So, what's next? What does the future hold for these incredible explorers? Well, the mission is now in its final phase. You could call it the long, slow farewell, as the spacecraft just drift ever deeper into the vastness of the Milky Way. Right now, the team is carefully managing the spacecraft's dwindling power. To keep the mission going as long as possible, they've had to make some tough choices, methodically shutting down instruments one by one. I mean, the famous cameras? They went dark way back in 1990. Today, only a handful of instruments are still on, mostly the ones that can directly measure the strange, new environment of particles and magnetic fields out there in interstellar space. But even after the power finally goes out for good, the journey doesn't stop. In about 40,000 years from now, Voyager 1 will just silently drift past a star called AC plus 793888. It's in a constellation most of us have probably never even heard of. Imagine that. And what about Voyager 2? Well, in just under 300,000 years, it's going to pass near Sirius, which, is the brightest star in our night sky. These probes, they are destined to just wander the Milky Way quite possibly forever. And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty profound thought. As they wander the Milky Way for, eternity, what message do they carry from us? These spacecraft are our silent emissaries. They're like our messages in a bottle, thrown into the cosmic ocean. So what do they say about us, about the civilization that built them, and then sent them on their way? Forever?